What is up, guys? Today we're going to take a look at some of the best and easiest ways to start winning your lane more. We did one a few weeks ago about how to not lose your lane, so we're going to flip that on its head. To be honest, you can win by getting carried. I guess that kind of counts as a skill, but to be honest, for me at least, I don't like losing my lane. It kind of tilts me, and the easiest way to make yourself climb is to win your lane. That's where it all starts, and when I'm tryharding, these are the things that I do. So like this if you did, dislike it if you didn't, and share the things you do in the comments, but stay till the end of this video because I do have a little bit of a dirty way to win the lane phase as well, which normally tilts people. So the kind of point of this is to stop autopiloting, the good old like just farm, not really concentrating push style that we see a lot. That is actually bad for winning your lane. There's no thought behind it, there's no like purpose or direction, I guess, and if you win that way, it's kind of just luck really, and that's nice, but we want to put it back into our control. Part of this is kind of like quality over quantity, so that's my first tip. Don't burn yourself out. Playing all day will make you play worse, you'll forget about the little things and end up just doing worse in general. So if you can, play a few less games but make them better. Now getting a gank is probably the easiest way to win your lane, but getting ganked is the easiest way to lose it as well. This is kind of part of why you don't want to auto push. The thing is, remember the line from the first episode where you want to maintain the same distance and people will do it without thinking? You can use that to your advantage when getting a gank. You position on the opposite side to where the gank is coming in and force the enemy laner to move opposite to you, closer to the jungler, and this little tiny thing will massively increase gank success and the chances of getting ahead from it. There is no shame in asking for a gank. I know a lot of people don't like doing it. The thing is, just don't expect it, I guess. They don't have to gank for you, but ask, and if you get it then win that way, then who cares? It's still going to be the same LP. Just have some map awareness and look where the jungler is. If they are coming, then let them push, only last hit, and when the jungler is near, start a trade, bait them in, use the line we talked about and increase the chance of it going well. This one is very high level, I think. You always ask me to go over more advanced stuff, so we're going to look at this, but everyone can still do it still. This is something Azo, the master tier Z main, uses a lot, so I talked to him a little bit about it for this video. He has his own YouTube, which I'll chuck a link to down below too. Definitely go check him out. So this is Prediction, the one-stop shop for how to actually hit your skill shots and punish people in the lane phase. And if you've ever wondered why high elo players hit more skill shots in lane, it's mostly because of this, not because they're better at aiming. Whenever your opponent goes for a CS, a minion kill, they move to a very predictable place to get it. It's kind of natural to move around a lot when you have nothing to do and then move to your max range to last hit. Because we know they want the CS, we know where they're likely going to stand, and now it's 10 times easier to hit that skill shot. They're going to be looking at the CS, right? Not as much at you, so they won't try to dodge it as easily, and also it's just easier for you to aim it in the first place knowing the area they're going to be in. This works for basically everything. Thresh hooks, Zyra Roost, Ari Charms, Victor Laser, any skill shot can be aimed at where they're going to CS and you'll hit a lot more. That in itself I think is actually quite high level anyway. It's a lot to think about when you're playing the game, but you can actually take it a bit further too in two ways. The first is to get kills. Specifically, you can use this against them. Most people are not going to actively think like about this or try to do it, but if you make it very obvious, then chances are they're actually going to try and hit you while you go for the CS. This is where you'll basically just say screw the minion and jump on them instead. Like, they'll think you're going to be taking a good trade because you're vulnerable while you farm, but actually you're making them step forward and you don't want that CS. You're looking at them. It's really funny actually how much this works, especially at lower ranks. You can bait people in to get close to you and kill them a lot of the time. Even if it doesn't work well, then at least you get some free CS, so there's no harm. Now we can actually take this one step further. This is very high level though, and even in Diamond a lot of people don't bother using this. It's kind of like a double bluff, so the enemy laner will be trying to capitalize on us in the same way we want to. When we go for a CS, they should know roughly where we're going to stand to take it and use their skill shots in the same way we would. Basically, they're thinking about that. They're often going to preemptively throw the skill shot to where we're going to be, and you can actually just bait skill shots out, waste their mana and cooldowns, which then lets you take favorable trades after. The thing is, one, this is very hard to do and think about properly when you have everything else to consider. The second thing is it kind of relies on the enemy doing the same thing, and I'm not sure this is very commonly known about a lower rank, so they're probably not even going to try and do it to you. You might be able to, I'm not sure honestly, so let me know in the comments if you think it'll work and what rank you are. I actually think that might be kind of interesting to see actually, like the difference between elos. Now this next one might sound a bit weird, but testing your limits is actually an easy way to win your lane, and in the long term this is how you become a really good player. How many times have you thought like, I can't kill them so I'm not going to bother trying, or maybe actually you don't even think about it at all because you don't think you can? That stuff is actually really bad for winning your lane because you won't try to win it, you'll just sit back. This doesn't mean suicide, by the way. That means ask yourself why. If I can't do anything, why not? If the answer is something like he's got more items than me, then it's fine, but if it's like I just don't know, then at least try. We want to be taking chances to test them without punishing ourselves too hard though. So one way is to always have our flash up before we do it. If it goes wrong, we flash out, or just kind of like at least have an escape escape plan if it doesn't work. I see way too many people, especially at lower ranks, sit back while the opponent is in kill range, and it's purely because they don't know that they can kill him. I know because I've been there, I've tested my limits, I know how much damage I have on that champion now from experience. If you don't push it, if you don't try, you're never going to learn how much damage you can do, and you'll never be in a position to win your lane almost every single game. The perfect example was actually, I was on stream yesterday, I was playing Jhin, we had a trade, Sivir was low, and I have my crit shot, so I healed to speed up and shot her, which ended up killing her. My support had backed off before that while I was running forward and said he was sorry, he didn't realize that I had enough damage, and honestly, I didn't know I had enough damage. I guessed I might do, and there's only one way to find out, so I healed to try. I actually really love ice hockey, and Wayne Gretzky once said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It's the same thing with League. You will never kill someone if you don't try. Now, I have mentioned trading in general before in videos, so very quickly, this is like the bread and butter of winning your lane in any single role. There's two types, cooldown and minion based. Minion based trading is kind of what we just talked about, really abusing their greed for minions. They're going to walk up to CS, they are looking at that minion and not at you, so that means you can hit them most of the time for free. It's actually win-win really. If they choose to hit you back, then it's an equal trade and they lose a CS. If not, which is probably more likely actually, you get free damage onto them because they CS instead. Cooldown based trading is where we abuse the fact that something is on cooldown, so they can't use it for damage onto us. Like a Victor, think about that. If he uses his laser on the minion wave, then he doesn't have that to use on us. That's his main damage source, and we should be able to get a better trade-off while he can't use it. These things are the basics for getting kills in any single lane, any role. They chunk health bars down, which then lead to you jumping in and finish them off. It's actually very hard to kill someone from full health, but it's not so hard when you slap them about first, put them to half, and then go in for the kill afterwards. So I think there are actually a few more specific chances to trade that normally result in kills or quite big leads, and even if you guys know these already, from the amount of games I've watched and nobody uses it, you definitely need a good kick up the arse to remember to actually do it. The first one is levels. I think everybody knows about the famous level 2 power spike, but there are two other levels as well that are really big. Every time I play on my unranked to diamond account, I actually use this level 2 and I almost always get a kill, or I blow a summoner, or just a really good trade and make them use their potion. So this is super important. So what to focus on to properly abuse it? The first thing is you can soften them up level 1, just a few auto attacks, but that's kind of optional, I guess. Your priority has to be killing the whole first minion wave before the second arrives. If you don't, you aren't going to get level 2. New minions come in and you won't be able to reach those from the first wave safely. When you're one creep away, start to move towards the enemy. Close that gap before you hit it. You'll be surprised how many people don't run away because you're the same level at the moment and they realize too late once you've leveled up. So level 3 is a cheese one that nobody really expects. Having all 3 spells when they only have 2, especially on a kill lane champion, is a really big advantage. Nobody really thinks about this, so it is very easy to take advantage of, but it doesn't work on every single champion. This is best on like aggressive champions or assassins. For example, like a Fizz, right? QWE, they're all used for damage. Pantheon as well, Spear, Stun E, all used for killing people. Same with Ari, QWE, all damage spells. That is kind of what we're looking for. So on the flip side, like don't do it on a Jhin because E isn't very useful in a fight. Or Sivir, like your spell shield, that's not adding damage to kill them quicker. Rank 1 base damage actually isn't a ton in a fight after that, but like an extra 60 to 70 damage which you have and your opponent doesn't have because they're only level 2 does make a big difference. The best thing about this actually is I don't think anyone really thinks about level 3 very much, so you can easily catch people off guard. Level 6 is another big one which most people know about, but it's more about the quick punish as soon as you level up. Most people do not watch their experience bars that much at all, but at level 5 just keep an eye on it. As soon as you hit 6 you can go aggressive, and again they are not going to expect it. The same with like the level 2, right? You can trade a bit before, soften them up, and when you're about to hit 6 you move forward to close the gap before they realize. The easiest way to do this is actually to make them base before. So you take a good trade like level 3 or 4, kill them, whatever it is, and if they miss minions then you're guaranteed to hit that level 6 first. It's kind of hard otherwise to guarantee being the first to 6, but it is possible. You should definitely try because it is worth it and you can get a lot of kills this way. So let's talk about the tilt thing. This is something that a few of you might not like, but you don't have to do it. A friend of mine, Huzlo, said this, who is also a high elo player and does gameplay stuff on his channel, so definitely go check him out. He'll also be down below. This is more of a mindset thing than anything else, and it actually works. You'll be surprised how many high elo players use this, even though they probably are not going to admit it. So it's up to you if you want to do this, but it's not as well known, and a win is a win. The first thing is actually about the champion picks themselves, like who you're going to be playing. I've said this a few times, but main a few and you'll play better. You know the champion inside and out, you know how to win with them, how to make a comeback, what your job is. Like everything is just easier and faster when you only play a few champs. Well, the other reason you do this is because people will target you if you're playing something new and camp the crap out of you. If you don't know the champion very well, chances are you don't know how to play from behind, which is much harder, and you'll probably be useless if you aren't ahead. This happens way more than you think, honestly. I know it sounds weird, kind of dirty, but it's just an easy way to win the lane and win the game afterwards. Playing a newer champion is fine when you're ahead, but it's not so much when you're behind. There are some programs that tell you this. I think Overwolf might do it, but I'm not sure. Most people honestly just use op.gg or lol nexus, the game, and it shows you their KDA and how many games they played with their champion. Basically, if you want to use this, completely optional. You should find the least experienced player and you camp them. You roam to that lane, you gank them, and you set them behind. So the next thing is actually even worse. Not everyone is going to do this, but remember how I've said before, don't play when you're on tilt, don't play too many games because you'll play worse. Well, people do it anyway, and this is why you shouldn't. I've talked about this one a little bit before, but especially at high-low, you look up the game again, you find the person who's played the most today and lost a few or is on a loss streak. These guys who play on loss streaks tilt so much easier, they play worse, and if you set them behind, they're likely going to rage or give up, and that makes it easier for you. It's not just like going and camping their lane, obviously that is an easy way, but if they're in your lane, then you can be more aggressive and take advantage. 90% of the time, they'll be playing worse and are so frustrated. They'll take bad trades, and you can capitalize on those mistakes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share, but for now, let's go to the robots.